with this success, you were able to expand to Amsterdam and Tokyo, Atlanta, LA. How and why did you pick those particular cities for Fat Beats retail locations?
Well, I picked LA. I really didn't pick them as much as they kind of picked me. And I did spread things out thin a little bit, but we had the record store. I had the record store, the first store on 9th Street. Mike D from the Beastie Boys came shopping. He came in there shopping one day. And he, the store was fairly successful. So I was just talking to people. And I worked very close with X Large. So remember the brand X Large? They used to have stores. So there was an X Large store actually on Avenue A between 9th and 10th. And I was on 10th. And I was on 9th between 1st and 2nd. So I was right down the block. So I did a lot of events with them. And I met the management there, the owners. And I used to talk to them about their LA store, how the LA store did. And about a year and a half into operation, I was talking, just talking business like, wow, what if I, opened a store in LA? How would it do? Because we had taken a couple independent records from LA at the time. So Mike D inside X Large in LA, Mike D had a record store called Top Shelf. So it was in the back of the store. It was upstairs, in the back of the store upstairs. And I don't know how he heard, but he called, one of his people called me up saying, hey, there's a record store here, there's an opportunity. If you want to buy it out. Mike D from the Beastie Boys is selling it. And I was a huge Beastie Boys fan. So I'm like, oh, Mike D from the Beastie Boys. I mean, it's probably going to be already have traffic, people come in. And then X Large was like before the term hipster, they were like the hip brand. So I kind of took a chance with it, the LA store. Mike D sold me the whole store as is, everything, register, everything. So I was like, well, I don't have to spend all this money on build out. I had to spend a lot of money to buy it from him at the time. And I was like, we'll see how it works in LA, because I didn't know how things were going to be in LA. I knew everyone in LA was really cool because of the New Music Seminar, and the Rock Steady battle from the years before. And they would come to, they would all come to New York, and LA, groups that would hang together. A bunch of LA guys would come, real nice guys, incredible turntablists. So I'd be like, hey, you want to get on? And that's how I met people. So he called me up, said, hey, got this opportunity for the store here in LA. I was like, it's good timing. I had met DJ Babu and became friends with him. And Babu was the first manager of the Fat Beats LA store. So I had people out there. I would come to LA and stay with Babu. And he lived right by actually that area. He lived right by X Large. And so I took a chance with it. And just like New York, LA embraced the store because it wasn't a New York hip hop store. It was just a hip hop store. And, we definitely catered to LA artists. I was like, I'm not bringing, the mixtape DJs, everyone. And so the first LA store, you had Babu was managing it. We had Marvski, who was kind of a figure in the scene at the time. He was MC, and he worked at the store. And DJ Newmark started working there, and J-Rocc was working there. And then you had other people that kind of worked on and off and helped out, Truly Odd and Cut Chemist, and eventually Redmatic. And now, if you fast forward now, these are all prominent people in the scene. So they were there and sort of made it official. Amsterdam, my partner in New York, Ryan Sikorsky, he was my first employee, first guy I was working with, he would travel to Amsterdam. He was very involved in the skate scene. And he hooked up with this guy named Ricardo, who was a skater. And he said that he can really like Fat Beats because Ricardo was into music too, and knew that Ryan worked there, and said, hey, there's a possibility we could do one in Amsterdam. And at the time, whenever you think of Europe, you think of, London, Paris, stuff. But I didn't really think of Amsterdam too much. But when I looked into it, I'm like, oh, Amsterdam that's like the village of Europe. That's where all the, everyone goes. So that sort of kind of made sense. And the same thing happened to me with Japan, whereas people in Japan stepped to me about opening the store, putting a store there. So a little young, so I probably would have did things different now, because there was nothing wrong with the concept. It's just it all happened at the same time. That was the problem. And but they were they were fairly successful for the first couple of years. I mean, for several years actually.
So you mean you do it differently as opposed to like spread them out? You mean like more staggered release or staggered openings? You mean or?
Yeah, because they kind of opened around the same time, and then maybe a little bit more management with systems. It also was, computers. The internet had just barely started up. At that time, it was still, you had like, you had 28 or 28 gig or 28 megabytes dial in. It had just started up, and so technology wasn't quite there. And I did study how to run a business and do a store, but not too much chain stores. I just figured everyone will just do what I do. Just do what I do in your location, you'll be successful. But that's not always the case. So I think just better systems on my part, to be able to sort of manage the operations.
Gotcha. Now, fast forwarding that till today, the record industry, of course, is dramatically different than it was in the late 90s, even the early 2000s. So as Fat Beats, the store, and fatbeats.com, the store, and then the vinyl and specialty items that you guys sell online and distribute, how have you kind of evolved the business and the mindset to be able to survive in the internet age selling vinyl?
Yeah, it's not easy, because we just took the same concept, like, whatever we're selling out the store now, we want to distribute to the world. So the distribution was going on for a long time while the stores were open. I had my life changed, a lot of stuff changed with me, where I kind of took myself out of the sort of the scene and stuff, and so I wasn't as involved with the stores. And we just, as people started, like, not everyone, but for a good amount of people stopped buying records for a while. Everyone got into sneakers and stuff, and the records kind of suffered a little bit. We were always doing distribution. Distribution was going well, and I just, like I said, I took myself out the scene, so I wasn't that involved in the New York store anymore, and either all the stores. So they started.
Why did you do that?
Just had a change of life. My whole life changed. I got saved. I ended up getting married. I started attending Bible college. I was living a lot of my life in the church. Just things changed a little bit. So things changed in my life, but bills didn't change. I still had bills. So I was like, I know some people have drastic changes and just give up everything, but I was like, well, I can't give up. If I give up my business, how am I going to pay my bills? So I was just, luckily, I would say I was blessed to have a very good staff to mainly run things. And for a few years, I was coaching sports. I was coaching football, basketball. I was working with my kids, and I was just sort of overseeing the business on the bookkeeping end. And it got rough for a little while. And but what year was it? People started picking up vinyl again. And luckily we didn't, because we got rid of a lot of vinyl. I have to say it hurt, to get rid of that much stuff. But things started picking up again. And when I closed the stores, it was, because it was negligence on my end, not giving it the attention it needed, because we could have definitely survived. But like I said, I wasn't there. So just focused more on distribution. And I just became the bookkeeper at the time. I wasn't even that aware of the projects that we were doing. But I trusted the staff. I trusted the people that was working, and I think that's how things worked pretty good, because I let them kind of freely run things. And we just went into distribution, and the name of the store helps a lot. So when we're trying to distribute records around the world, it was very easy to open stores up. Now, as long as we kept feeding them with good stuff, the relationship worked and it continued. So up until this day, we have so many retail accounts. I mean, anyone that opens up a store that wants to sell anything in any kind of urban music, either they know of us or they'll learn about us pretty quick.
Right. Okay. And then with like on your guys' website, how do you I guess to what degree are you participating, or how does it work? Like you got like a Fat Lip in Blue 7-inch, and then you got a Black Moon Enter the Stage double vinyl. Like how are you selecting what is going up on the website and what you guys are actually selling these days?
Yeah, I mean, right now, it has changed a little bit where we do our sort of genres of music have opened up. We're selling a lot more stuff, not just the boom bap and commercial rap, but we're still all kinds of stuff. I mean, the same way. It's just we look for good projects. I have a buyer. I've had buyers that would run the website and do the buying. So yeah, I'm not necessarily dictating. I mean, I have it in years. Only when we first opened up of what we're going to carry. It's when I started in '94, it was just sort of you had rap music, hip hop, and that was it. And then you started sort of commercial and underground. And then the trees expanded. So now you have so many different genres. And so with me, because I'm an old man now, I'm not trying to be that young guy. We need to carry that. We need to carry that. It's just like, is this what people like? Is it what they want? We'll provide the service for them. So for me, like rap is rap. There's a lot of different names now and different styles. But we're a retailer. If it could sell, we'll carry it. It's not, we're not gonna sort of pick and choose anymore, but it has to be good, stuff that people want.
Makes sense. Well, there it is. All right. Well, Joseph, thanks so much for coming through to Unique Access. Anything else you wanted to add about what you're working on now, or things people should be looking out for Fat Beats? Yeah,
just more good music. We have a bunch of projects lined up to come out for 2022. We got some projects coming out in 2023, and possible another retail operation coming soon. It's going to be a whole different experience than the first store, and just look for some legendary artists coming through Fat Beats. Hopefully, we're July 2022. Hopefully, really soon.
Well, there it is. All right. Well, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good luck with everything.
Now I want you to listen real close to me. I'm going to ask you some real simple questions, and I want some real simple answers. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
You said that you couldn't have possibly been at the crime scene at 11:15 because you were in the bookstore buying my audio book and my hardcover book at 11:15 when the crime scene occurred in Soren's book.
The History of Gangster Rap.
So you couldn't have been at the crime scene because you were buying the books.
Right. At 11:15, I was at the bookstore at 11:15, and when I bought the books and accidentally left them at the store.
So at 11:15, you couldn't have been at the crime scene because you were buying books, right?
At 11:15, when I was leaving, it was some people coming in, and I forgot to grab.
But you don't remember who
what they look
people,
like.
what they look like or nothing, right?
No.
So 12:15, you in the bookstore buying my audio book and hardcover book and Soren's book at 12:15. So you couldn't have been at the scene because you were buying the books, right?
Yeah, at 12, exactly, at 12:15 exactly, I was at the bookstore.
Now you see. You know you done fucked up.
What you
No,
mean?
first you said you were at the bookstore at 11:15, and then you said you was 12:15. You know you done fucked up, man. He fucked up.
Yeah, he fucked up.
He fucked up.
Man, you confusing me, man.
So, you get my book, my audio book, 40 years, and Soren's book, History of Gangster Rap, and if you don't, you know you done fucked up, right?
Man, the more those cops ask me questions, the more I wish I bought them motherfucking books.